Welcome to Aprendamos Español, Level 2. I am Dr. Dan Viamonte, your Spanish 2 teacher. Now, last time we discussed and covered likes and dislikes. When to use gustar, like, and encantar, really like. We reviewed subject pronouns. Remember, in the singular, yo, tú, usted, él, ella, and in the plural, nosotros, nosotras, ustedes, ellos, y ellas. We introduced the indirect object pronouns. In the singular, me, te, lo, or la. In the plural, nos, or los, or las. We asked about favorite activities. Do you remember the verbs bailar, cantar? Do you remember what they meant? Dance, sing, cocinar, to cook, comer, to eat, desayunar, to have breakfast, escribir, to write, escuchar, to listen, estudiar, to study, hablar, to talk, hacer, to make or do, ejercicio, to do exercise, jugar, to play like a sport or an activity, lavar, to wash, leer, to read, tocar, as in tocar la guitarra, a musical instrument, nadar, to swim, ver la tele, to watch TV, pasear, en bicicleta, to ride your bicycle. We also saw our first installment of ¿Qué decimos?, the soap opera. Do you remember what a soap opera is called in Spanish? Telenovela, that's right. We conjugated verbs in the present tense, the AR, the ER, and the IR verbs. And we also told time. Remember that you should have those items and the following ones that we're going to discuss written in your notebooks. Let's take a look at what should be in your notebooks. Your class notes in Spanish should include basic colors, the alphabet, all 30 letters. Do you remember that there are 4 letters that we do not have in English, but we do use in Spanish? Typical Spanish greetings. Review the basic Spanish names that were in your textbook. They were listed on page Roman numeral 11. The present tense verb conjugation, the AR, the ER, and the IR endings. Vocabulary from Dime Dos, Cuaderno, and lessons. To be able to do numbers 1 through 100 and beyond. The days of the months and the seasons and the days. Spanish-speaking countries and their capitals. Remember, there were 20 from North America, Central America, South America, the Caribbean, and Europe. The telenovela notes. You should remember who the characters are and what situations did they go to in each episode. You should also make, whenever possible, cultural notes. Every once in a while, we'll be discussing things that are typical to the Hispanic culture. This lesson, we shall cover the following. We're now in Unidad 1, Lección 2. That's Unit 1, Chapter 1, Lesson 2. Facilitator. Please make sure that the students have their Dime Dos textbook, their cuadernos, that's the Dime Dos workbook, and their notebooks for taking notes. The lesson today will cover the following. The verbs ser and estar. We're going to introduce stem-changing verbs. You'll find those on page 30 in your textbook. We're going to cover irregular verbs on page 31. We're going to be introducing new vocabulary from both your cuaderno and your textbook, and we're going to listen and talk about bailo con un bulto. Facilitator, would you please help the students turn to page 2 of their cuaderno, the Dime Dos workbook, we're going to be working on Part B, Exercise B, por la tarde, on page 2 of Unidad 1, Lección 1. Do you remember the correct form of yo, tú, usted, él, ella, nosotros, nosotras, or ustedes, ellos, ellas? Let's take a look at the instructions for Activity B. Por la tarde, in the afternoon. ¿Qué hacen estas personas por la tarde? What do these people do in the afternoon? Después, after, del colegio o de trabajar, after school or after work. Let's take a look at number 1. Number 1, the clues are el entrenador, the trainer, leer revistas, to read magazines, sobre la salud y el ejercicio, over exercise and health. So now we want to write this in a complete sentence. El entrenador lee, remember, leer is an ER verb. You drop off the ER, and we're talking about the third person singular, so it's lee revistas sobre la salud y el ejercicio. Now, what I'd like you to do is take a few minutes and complete the remaining 2 through 7. Facilitator, would you please help them work on this now? Pause the tape, please. Thank you. Did you remember to use the correct form? I hope you did. Remember the yo, the tú, the él, ella, usted, de nosotros, nosotras, or the ustedes, ellos, or ellas. Let's check number 7. See how you did with number 7. Number 7 should read, nosotros participamos en el partido de fútbol entre los profesores y los estudiantes. Remember, in Spanish, the word football means soccer. At the end of this lesson, should you need some additional help, your facilitator will be happy to go over the answers. Let's go now to page 3 in your cuaderno and look at exercise D on page 3. Remember, these were the question words that we reviewed on page 14 of your textbook, Dime Dos. Do you want to open up your textbook to page 14 and look at those question words on the left-hand side? You can use those as a guide to answering the questions 1 through 9. Please make sure you read the instructions. It's important that whenever you do exercises or take a test, that you read the instructions carefully so that you're answering the question that is asked. Okay, let's take a few minutes and do questions 1 through 7, and we're only looking for the answers. We'll be back in just a moment. Facilitator, please pause tape. Let's take a look at the answers to Cuaderno, Exercise D, page number 3. Number 1, ¿dónde? Because we want to ask where. Number 2, ¿cuántos? Because we want to know how many. ¿Cuándo? When? Number 4, ¿por qué? 2 words, meaning why. 5, ¿cómo? How? Number 6, ¿cuál? Which? Number 7, ¿quién? Whom? And number 8, ¿qué? Meaning what? And number 9, ¿a dónde? Meaning where at. How did you do? Oh, good. All right. Now, remember, We want you to keep good notes in your notebook. Let's review so far some of the things that you already have in your notebook. Why do we study a foreign language? Well, we study a foreign language because it gives us an opportunity to do more travel and entertaining fun. We can meet new friends both at home and abroad. We have wider horizons with exciting foreign media. We have a special major social and business possibility or asset. And finally, it's an excellent preparation for college. In addition, you should also have the verbs ser and estar and its uses. Remember, with ser and estar, we're talking about conditions. We're describing people, adjectives, to express conditions, to give location, to form the present progressive. In a moment, I want you to repeat after me the two verbs ser and estar. Remember, they both mean to be. Yo estoy. Yo soy. Tú estás. Tú eres. Usted, él o ella está. Usted, él o ella es. Nosotros, nosotras estamos. Nosotros, nosotras somos. The vosotros form, if you remember, is only used in Spain, and I put it here just to remind us. In the third person plural, ustedes, ellos y ellas, for the verb estar, están, and for ser, son. So let's repeat. For estar, estoy, estás, está, estamos, estás, están. For ser, soy, eres, es, somos, sois, y son. Remember that we use ser and estar when they are talking about to be something, but we use them in different situations. Let's take a look at the situations. Ser and estar when used with nouns. Ser is used with nouns to tell from where people come from, their relationships, and important groups to which they belong. For things, it describes who owns them and of what material are they made of. Estar, that's more temporary. It tells where someone or something is at any given time. Examples of estar with nouns. Estoy en la biblioteca. I am in the library. Están en la joyería. They are in the jewelry store. When I'm talking about position with estar, está a la derecha. It's to the right. And están en el centro del foto. They're in the center of the photo. Those are examples of estar with nouns. Ser and estar with adjectives. Ser describes essential characteristics, how people or things are fundamentally, normally, what we would normally expect to see, and objectively. We would use estar to describe temporary characteristics, how people or things are at the moment, temporarily, or in someone's opinion. Let's look at some examples on how to use estar with adjectives. Remember, when we use estar, We're looking at temporary issues. Estoy rubia. I am blonde. Roberto está gordo. At the moment, Robert is fat. Normally, he is not. He's gained some weight. Salvador está guapo. Salvador is looking handsome today. Temporary. Su casa no está limpia. Your or her house is not clean. We would assume that normally the house is clean, but at the moment it is dirty. Su casa no está limpia. Examples of ESTAR with adjectives, telling how the description a person is. Está en España ahora. Now he is in Spain. Está cansado. He is tired. Está sucio. He is dirty. Está pobre. He's broke, meaning he's poor. I also use estar when I'm talking about conditions. Está muy triste ahora. He is very sad right now. Notice that means that it's temporary. We hope he's not going to be sad for a long time. And ¿por qué estás tan cansada? Why are you so tired? Again, we would hope that that is a temporary condition and not permanent. We have other verbs to express to be. The verbs tener, which means to be, hacer, which means to be, and haber, which means to be. So you see, in Spanish, we have many words to say to be. When we use tener, an example would be, tengo hambre. I am hungry. Remember, it's an ER verb. First person singular, ends in O. Tengo hambre. Tiene 18 años. He is 18 years old. Tiene. Hacer. Hace muchos años que. It has been many years since. Hace sol. It is sunny outside. And haber. Hay un jardín detrás de mi casa. There is a garden behind my house. We'll be seeing these verbs again, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to understand that there are other verbs which also express to be. Now, if you'll turn in your textbook, Dime dos, to page 44. Remember, we sometimes skip to find the materials that we're looking for. So we want you to go to page 44 and look on the left-hand margin. There you will find, for your review, describing people using ser. Remember, first person singular, yo soy, tú eres, usted, él, ella, es, nosotros, nosotras somos, ustedes, ellos, ellas son. First person singular, second person singular, third person singular, first person plural, third person plural. An example would be, soy inteligente y guapo. I am intelligent and handsome. Okay, let's practice now. Facilitator, will you make sure that the students are open in their cuadernos, that's their workbook of Dime dos, to page 5. Let's read the instructions together. Look at the model. They want you to use a form of estar. Notice the clue, ella. Now let's take a moment and read the instructions. ¿Dónde están? Where are they? Todos están en un lugar. Everyone is someplace. Están haciendo algo. They are doing something. Algo y están de varias condiciones, and they are in various conditions. ¿Dónde están? Where are they? ¿Qué están haciendo? What are they doing? ¿Y cómo se siente? How do they feel? Follow the model. Now look at the model. The clues is ella, fiesta, bailar, contento. And so you would write the sentence, está en una fiesta. Está bailando. Está contenta. So notice what we're doing. We are using a form of estar. And we are conjugating the verb where necessary. Okay? If you'll take a look at number 1. Try to do number 1, please. Let's take a look at what number 1 says. Notice that there is a picture to the left, and it looks like the young man is doing what? He's in class. What class is he in? El clase de química. He's in the chemistry class. And what is he doing? Oh, he's taking an exam. Sometimes the pictures give us a clue as to what words mean. And he is nervioso, nervous. Notice he is sweating. So let's write the 3 sentences for number 1. Está en la clase de química. He is in chemistry class. Está tomando un examen. He is taking an exam. Está nervioso. He is nervous. Finish numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5 as homework. Now, let's build your vocabulary. Let's take a look at the vocabulary from last time and add it to today's vocabulary on page 4 of your cuaderno, and then we will go to page 8 of your cuaderno. Please turn to page 4 of your cuaderno. There you will see the active vocabulary for Unit 1, Lesson 1. Let's take a look at it together. Notice the word sustantivos. That means nouns. I'm going to want you to repeat these words after I have said the word out loud. Facilitator, please help the students say the word out loud. Are we ready? Here we go. El correo. Now that means the mail. El correo. Good. One more time. El correo. El cuadrado. Now that means square. El cuadrado. La cuadrícula. A pattern of squares. La cuadrícula. La lista. List. Repeat. La lista. El medio de transporte. Means of transportation. El medio de transporte. Los nachos. These are nachos. That's right. I bet many of you have had them. Los nachos. La personalidad. The personality. La personalidad. La preferencia. Preference. La preferencia. La pregunta. The question. La pregunta. La rutina. The routine. La rutina. El talento. Talent. El talento. La vida. Life. La vida. Now let's take a look at the second column, the verbs. Acabar de, to have just completed something. Acabar de. Aprovechar, to profit by or to take advantage of. Aprovechar. Asistir, to attend. Asistir a. Cantar, to sing. Cantar. Gozar, to enjoy. Gozar. Nadar, to swim. Nadar. Viajar, to travel. Viajar. Vivir, to live. Vivir. Are you repeating the words after me? Say them nice and loud. Thank you. Let's go to adjectivos, adjectives. Largo, larga, long. Remember, if it ends in O, it's masculine. If it ends in A, it's feminine. Largo, larga. Listo, lista, ready. Listo, lista. Negativo, negativa, negative. Negativo, negativa. Positivo, positiva, positive. Positivo, positiva. Finally, in column number 3, we're going to take a look at some palabras y expresiones, words and expressions. Aguafiestas. This can mean wet blanket or a party pooper. Aguafiesta. El or la amigo or amiga. Por correspondencia. Some of you may have pen pals. That's pen pals. El amigo por correspondencia. Try it one more time. La amiga por correspondencia. Good. Echar de menos. To miss. Echar de menos. Fue un placer. Pleased to meet you. Fue un placer. Hacer preguntas. To ask questions. Hacer preguntas. Remember, the H is silent. La semana que viene. Next week. La semana que viene. Nos vemos. See you later. Nos vemos. ¿Qué hay de nuevo? What's new? ¿Qué hay de nuevo? Tener ganas de. To feel like or to have a mind to do something. Tener ganas de. Te toca a ti. It's your turn. Te toca a ti. How did you do? I know it's hard, but it's important that you say the words after me out loud. Now, we need to make Spanish vocabulary flashcards. Have any of you ever used flashcards? Let's take a look. Vocabulary flashcards can be 3 by 5 or any size that you prefer. And on one side, you write the Spanish word, el correo. Then you turn it over, and on the same card on the back, you write the definition, mail, or it can also mean post office. Now, if you do one of these cards for each and every vocabulary word, you'll be able to practice wherever you are your vocabulary. It's important to be able to practice your vocabulary many times each week. Now let's go to page 8 in our cuaderno, which is the vocabulary that was used for Lesson 2, Unit 1. Facilitator, would you please make sure that everyone is on page 8 in their cuaderno, the Dime workbook. Again, I will say the Spanish word once. Then I will give the English meaning and then repeat the Spanish word. And that's when I want you to say out loud the word after me. Are you ready? Let's give it a try. Regalos. This is a heading for gifts. So the word for gifts is regalos. Now that means you have to be able to learn to roll your R's. Some of you will need practice. One more time. Regalos. Good. Some of you are getting that. Good. El arete. Earring. El arete. Earring. El collar. Necklace. El collar. Necklace. El juego. A matching set or a game. El juego. La pulsera. Bracelet. La pulsera. Now let's take a look at some conditions. Estar frustrado. To be frustrated. Estar frustrado. If you were talking in the feminine, estar frustrada. Estar frustrada. Estar seguro. To be sure. Estar seguro. Estar segura. Estar segura. Muerto de hambre. Oh, I'm dying of hunger. I'm starving. Muerto de hambre. Or muerta de hambre. Continuing in the next column with nouns. Remember, sustantivos means nouns. La forma means form or shape. La forma. La impresión. Impression. La impresión. El impuesto. Tax. El impuesto. La síntoma. The symptom. La síntoma. El or la vecino, vecina. El vecino, neighbor. La vecina, la vecina. Verbs, verbos. Contar. It looks like cantar, but this is with an O. Contar. It means to count, or to tell, or to recount. Repeat after me. Contar. Contestar. To answer. Contestar. On the third column, continuing with adjectives. Completo. Complete. Completo. Or completa. Completa. Rebajado or rebajada, reduced or discounted. Rebajado, rebajada. Venezolano, Venezuelan. Venezolano. And if we're talking about a female, venezolana. Venezolana. Good. And finally, the three palabras y expresiones. Do you remember these are words and expressions used in Spanish? Déjame ver. Let me see. Déjame ver. Lo mismo. The same. Lo mismo. ¡Qué suerte! What luck! ¡Qué suerte! Now remember, we want you to create flashcards for any and all vocabulary words, especially words that you do not know the meaning of, or that they are new to you, or words that you recognize but you had to look up because you don't remember what they meant. Now we'd like you to turn in your textbook, Dime Dos, pages 22 through 24, and we're going to be listening to a story, Bailo con un bulto. You should know that this is a legend from New Mexico. It's about a man who meets an enchanting woman, and then he discovers the very next day that she was a ghost, un bulto. Okay, let's listen. Follow along in your textbook, and if it helps, use your finger to follow as the words are spoken. If that helps you. I know sometimes it helps me to keep track of what is being said. Okay, stand by. And facilitator, would you please make sure the students are following Bailé con un bulto.
Bailó con un bulto. En las partes rurales de Texas, Nuevo México, Colorado y Utah, cuando se ve a una persona hacer autostop, no es raro que alguien diga, tal vez quiera ir al baile. ¿Por qué dicen eso? Preguntas. Pues deja contarte algo que pasó hace varios años. Imagínate que es una noche oscura y triste de sábado. Un joven soldado que acaba de regresar a su casa del servicio militar va manejando su viejo Chevy desgastado cuando ve a una joven que pide un aventón. El soldado para su coche y le pregunta, ¿a dónde vas? Hay un baile en el pueblo. ¿Puede darme un aventón? Como el joven no siente ninguna aprensión, decide darle un aventón. Camino al pueblo, la muchacha no habla mucho, pero dice que se llama Crucita Delgado. El joven queda fascinado con la hermosa muchacha. Cuando llegan al baile, la gente tiene mucha curiosidad. Todos conocen bien al joven soldado, pero nadie conoce a la muchacha. Ella es tan hermosa como misteriosa. Tiene la cara pálida y lleva su largo pelo negro en un moño, estilo victoriano. En efecto, todo su vestir parece victoriano. Su vestido largo y negro, con florecitas de color rosa y azules. Su cuello alto, decorado con encaje blanco. Sobre el encaje lleva un broche camafeo. También las medias y los zapatos parecen ser de principios de siglo. El soldado la saca a bailar, pero la música es demasiado rápida y ruidosa para ella. Después de solo unas cuantas vueltas rápidas, la pobre mujer se cae al suelo. La gente quiere contener la risa, pero les es imposible. Muy avergonzada, Crucita empieza a llorar. Las lágrimas corren sobre las pálidas mejillas de la muchacha. El soldado trata de consolarla, pero está muy desconcertada. Después de un rato, la música empieza de nuevo. Esta vez es música mexicana. Crucita conoce bien estos bailes y en muy poco tiempo se convierte en la mujer más bella del baile. Toda la gente la mira con admiración. Demasiado pronto termina la música y es hora de ir a casa. Al salir del baile, el soldado pone su chaqueta militar sobre los hombros de Crusita. Él está decidido que quiere mucho verla otra vez. La encuentra encantadora. El joven ofrece llevarla a su casa, pero ella insiste en bajarse del coche allá donde él la recogió. Entonces, para tener buena excusa para volver a verla, el joven soldado insiste en dejar su chaqueta militar con ella hasta el día siguiente. Por la mañana, bien temprano, el joven se sube al viejo Chevy y vuelve al sitio donde dejó a Crusita. Allí sigue una vereda que conduce a una casa de adobe abandonada. Llama a la puerta varias veces y por fin una viejita contesta. El joven le habla del baile de la noche anterior. La viejita se asusta y le dice: «No es posible, váyase». Pero cuando él sigue insistiendo, ella le dice: «Bueno, venga, sígame». Y la viejita le conduce al cementerio, donde le muestra una tumba. Y allí, colgada sobre una lápida, ve su chaqueta militar. Cuando recoge su chaqueta, puede leer la inscripción en la lápida: Crusita Delgado, 1878-1897. Que su alma alcance la paz eterna. En ese instante, el soldado se dio cuenta que la noche anterior había bailado con un bulto.
That story was known as Bailo con un bulto. Let's turn to page 28 in our textbook, Dime dos. And we're looking at exercise A, para empezar. In a moment, we're going to have you do questions 1 through 10. Now be sure to go back to the story if you need help. Remember, read the instructions before you begin. If you don't read the instructions, you won't know that they want you to answer the question in one of two ways. Cierto, meaning true, or falso, if it's false. So if it's falso, we want you to correct the sentence. Let's try reading number 1 together. Una joven muy hermosa ve a un joven soldado que hace autostop. What do you think? Do you think that's true or false? If you're not sure, go back to the beginning of that story. It's false. Falso. Un joven soldado ve a una joven muy hermosa que hace autostop. Now we want you to do the remaining numbers 2 through 10 as homework. Remember, we'd like you to keep track of the stories. So bailo con un bulto, remember it comes from New Mexico, and then give a paragraph or so about what the story was about. We reviewed the items in the present tense verbs for AR, ER, and IR regular verbs. Let's take a look. For AR, remember cantar, we take the AR, remove it, and we'll add our endings. For ER, comer, we take the ER off and we add our 5 endings. For the IR verbs, vivir, and we take off the IR and we put the 5 endings. Let's go through quickly an example. Remember, we have first person singular, second person singular, third person singular, first person plural and third person plural. For AR verbs, we add O, AS, A, AMOS, and AN. So it would be yo canto, tú cantas, él canta, nosotros cantamos, y ellos cantan. For ER verbs, you add the O, the ES, the E, the EMOS, and the EN. So it becomes yo como, tú comes, él come, nosotros comemos, y ellos comen. And finally, for the regular IR verbs, you add the O, the ES, the E, the IMOS, and the EN. So basically, the ER and the IR are the same except for the first person plural. In the ER, it's EMOS, and in the IR, it's IMOS. So, yo vivo, tú vives, él vive, nosotros vivimos, ellos viven. Now, today we covered a lot of material. We covered the verbs ser and estar. We also introduced new vocabulary. The vocabulary of page 4 in your cuaderno and page 8 in your cuaderno. Remember that we wanted you to create and to make flashcards. We want one word, the Spanish word, on one side, and then turn the card over and write the definition. That way, when you rehearse, practice, or review your vocabulary, you can use the flashcards. Sometimes it helps if you give the flashcards to someone else, and they'll ask you the word, and then they'll make sure that you gave them the right definition by looking on the back. We also listened and talked about a wonderful folk tale from New Mexico called Bailo con un bulto. We reviewed the items in the present tense, the verbs AR, ER, and IR, regular tense, and we reviewed the various verb conjugations covered today, both for regular and irregular verbs. Now, it's important that you bring your notebooks up to date. It's important that you practice your vocabulary, that you make flashcards. Don't forget, in this lesson, we assign 3 pieces of homework. For homework number 1, in your cuaderno, on page 5, we want you to finish 2, 3, 4, and 5. For homework number 2, we want you to create flashcards for any vocabulary words you either do not know or that you had to look up. And for homework number 3, Dime dos, page 28, exercise A, answer questions 1 through 10. Facilitator, after this lesson is over, you may feel free to play it back again and stop it if students need to copy some of the materials that we've covered. Thank you very much, students and facilitator. Until next class, remember, excellence in academics and excellence in behaviors makes for a terrific student. Muchas gracias. Adiós.